Hello everybody, and welcome back to the show you might not get because you had to be there. I'm your host for today's episode, Kaden Koellen, joined by my co-host here.
I'm Paul Hackemesser, the one and only.
And
actually,
that's
not
right.
the one and only.
Is there multiple of you?
I mean, I guess the one and only alive.
But today's episode is going to be we're going to be talking about some conspiracies, Paul. I know you've talked to me about the truth behind history and whatnot. But Paul, I want to talk to you about some conspiracies and the truth behind what they are hiding from us. Okay?
Is omnipotent famous historian Kaden Koellen back?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
It's non-omnipotent conspiracy theorist Paul that's here today to join the episode.
Great. Okay.
He has no idea what he's doing. I just brought him in off the street. Here we are. But before we get into that, Paul, how's life? How's life been treating you? How are things?
Not that bad. I've gotten some pretty good news. I got a job offer from my real life stuff besides this podcast. We don't make money from this podcast, but it's a pretty I'm gonna be making the big bucks soon, and it's confirmed. So yippee me! I get to live and eat another day.
Let's go.
Still not rich enough to buy decorations, but that's beside the point.
It is what
the blank wall will suffice for now.
All right, well, I don't have much going on, so we're just gonna go straight into it.
Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy going on. Okay, Paul, this isn't really. I'm always so playful when we get on these podcasts. I'm always, just so jolly and happy, but not today.
Oh no.
I need the truth, Paul. This is not no game. This is no game, Paul. I need the truth.
This is no game
from you.
I got you. I'll deliver you the truth.
Okay, Paul.
Mr. Koellen.
I'm trusting you. Okay, no. Paul. Are you? I need the truth about something I've been thinking about. We are living in a simulation. There is no spoon, a young boy famously tells Neo in the 1999 hit film The Matrix, alluding to the idea that we're all living in a simulation and reality is not what we think. It might sound far-fetched, but philosophers, physicists, technologists, and yes, comedians have all wrestled with the idea, said Scientific American. The specifics of simulation theory emerged from a 2003 paper by philosopher Nick Bostrom, now head of Oxford University's Future of Humanity Institute, titled, "Are You Living in a Computer Simulation?" The paper argued that future generations might have megacomputers that could run numerous and detailed simulations of their forebears. The odds are, Bostrom said, that we are products of that simulation and may be living among the simulated minds rather than among the original biological ones. What do you have to say about that, Paul? You want to tell me the truth about whether or not this is the real life, or is this just fantasy?
Took the words right out of my mouth. It is just a fantasy. All right. It's not real. And by not real, I mean the world. We do live in a simulation.
I could never have foreseen this. Please elaborate.
Philosophers, they're the big guys upstairs that are coming down to make sure that we don't catch on to what's really happening. Scientists, same thing. Comedians, this is just funny guys. But yeah. They've gotten a little too close to the truth sometimes, and sometimes we'd have to, get rid of their career. Matt Rife, never really sexist in the first place. We made him that way. He never bought the Annabelle doll. We gave it to him and made him think he bought it.
Now that I believe. Still mad about that last episode.
Listen.
You said you'd take my final answer, and then it didn't happen. Just want to say.
By
Just
the
want
way,
to put that
in
out there.
Episode, technically, you gave me like 3 final answers, and yes, the last one that you were supposed to get, I didn't take your final one, but you did say earlier, final answer, Matt Rife. And so I took your original answer.
Well, I kept saying different things. You know, we don't have to get into it, okay? I don't want to dig up these old wounds. I don't even know why you're bringing this up, Paul. Anyways, so on to the next. Were you done? Were you done explaining the truth? I mean, you said it was all a simulation, but what does that mean for us? What does that mean for us, Paul? You know what it means? Just gotta, all life is you just gotta go through life, leveling up, my personal god, Andrew Tate. So I'm gonna talk about something serious actually. He has basically a Discord server, but it's not. It's so different. It's called The Real World. I paid $50 a month to get into the real world, and let me tell you, it's so different. It's so much different. It all makes sense now.
By the way, that's an actual thing. You have to pay $50 a month to get into the real world, which is just a Discord mod.
I know. I know of the monstrosity
the real world
he's created, he's cultivated.
But yeah, I joined for measly $50 a month, and if you're hustling, you can spend a little more than that. But for those who aren't as committed, for a measly $50 a month, you can escape the simulation, escape the matrix, find the real world, and see Andrew Tate and Matt Rife for the angels they are in the real world.
All right, I'm just gonna sit with that.
Please don't.
Let everybody fester on what you've said, what things you've cultivated. Now we're gonna move on. All right, so I am so unhappy to hear about that. But even if we're in a simulation, Paul, there are other things that I know and I've seen and I've heard that need explanation. Like, for instance, I once heard that the Earth is hollow, and so is the moon. What lives at the center of the Earth? Thanks in large part to the 17th century astronomer Edmund Halley, some conspiracists believe that it is in fact hollow. Halley proposed the theory to explain some unusual compass readings in 1692, said BBC Science Focus. Even back then, the idea of a hollow Earth was, quote-unquote, hardly a new one, said Wired, which noted that it appears in folklore the world over, not to mention elsewhere in Europe in Halley's time. Science fiction writer Jules Verne explored the idea with his 1864 novel, Journey to the Center of the Earth. In 1798, the reclusive scientist Henry Cavendish put the final nail in the coffin, quote-unquote, of the hollow Earth theory, said Science Focus, demonstrating that within an experiment that the Earth's density meant that it was mostly solid. But what about the moon? As early as 1901, science fiction writers, including H.G. Wells, imagined that the moon was hollow and inhabited by aliens, said Dazed. The theory gained ground in 1969 during the Apollo 12 moon landing, when scientists discovered that the moon could, quote-unquote, ring like a bell, according to popular mechanics. What do you have to say about these things, Paul?
You see, they got one thing right and the other thing wrong. You see, the moon isn't hollow on the inside. It's completely hollow. There is no surface. Why? Because it's a hologram. What do you think's inside the Earth? A bunch of rock. Where do you think that rock came from? It's the moon. The moon is inside of the Earth, and what we see in the night sky is nothing but a mere hologram of what is down under. Australia's already figured it out. Australia is the moon.
No way. So you're telling me, Paul, that this whole time It was all right under our noses. It was all
down under. Yeah.
The moon was here the whole time.
The moon was here.
So
that's why the cape was the flag was, you know,
yes,
swaying
America's
and
cape.
stuff. America's cape, yes.
It all makes sense
because there was wind, but there's no wind in space, but there's wind on Earth, and especially not under the Earth, but there's wind gusts and
but
stuff.
There's winds on a hologram. It all makes sense now.
You're okay. You see, all those British, you know, I think commanders, whatever, all those people who like banished all the first Australians to that island. It wasn't an island. They banished them to the fucking moon. All right, they banished them to the moon.
Oh my goodness.
They didn't want to see them ever again, and then they came back up with their conspiracy theories about the moons in the sky and everything.
I cannot believe this. This information
Everything you
I'm
think
hearing.
you know is because of Australians, and you should be ashamed.
Oh my gosh. Australians. I hate you. I personally, no, I'm just, that is, man, you know, hate is such a strong word, but I think because of what Paul has said here today, I'm going to be way more, you know, perceptive around Australians. I don't trust them at all. And, maybe
They're the moon
because,
people.
Yeah.
Those
Paul
aliens that they say live on the moon, it's just Australians.
Paul says that they're from the moon, but they haven't told us?
Exactly.
What's up with that? Okay, so now, Paul, I don't know if you've heard about these little things called the 7 Wonders of the World.
Okay.
One of those things is the Stonehenge. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so you've heard about them. I'm sure you know way more than I do about them. But, Paul, I heard one time that aliens helped build it. In 2024, the science journal Nature revealed that the 6-ton altar stone at Stonehenge came from the northeast of Scotland and not Wales like the rest of the monument's blue stones. And it was a fascinating revelation, not least because it reignited the question, how were the stones, some weighing 45 tons, transported and arranged to where they sit today? Without basic transportation technology such as wheels, which were invented more than 5 centuries later, there is no obvious answer to how the biggest stones were moved, Paul. And much of what scientists do know about the construction of Stonehenge is from educated guesses and constantly evolving research, the most recent of which suggests that, in fact, 2 of the largest boulders that make up Stonehenge have always been, more or less, where they sit today. Alternatively, of course, scientists could shun the research and read Erich von Däniken's seminal book, Chariots of the Gods, which makes the argument that many ancient megastructures such as Stonehenge, the Egyptian pyramids, and the Maui heads of Easter Island were built using know-how passed down from godlike aliens to mankind, said The Independent. What do you think of that, Paul? Please elaborate.
So Stonehenge, right? It's famously, it's you know, it's in a circle, right?
Yeah.
You know, all the rocks.
Yeah, they're in a big
You know
circle.
what else is in a
Yeah, I know
circle?
that shape.
You know what else is in a circle?
What? What's in a circle?
Are you familiar with cow udders?
Yeah. I think I know my way around a pair of udders.
See, Stonehenge is actually just the udders of the earth. And
Wow. Okay.
and people have found, you know, they've been long since forgotten, but if you crack a part of Stonehenge off,
Illegal, I'm pretty sure.
The milk. Yeah, it is very illegal. That's why they didn't find him again. But the milk of the earth seeps through. And let me tell you, he was a close personal friend of mine. Too bad I didn't. All of his, history was gone. FBI. But I've heard. I've heard rumors that it's quite tasty. The most delicious milk of all time, straight out of the earth's teat.
No way.
It's true.
That is crazy. But Paul, how do you milk the earth?
How do you milk a cow? You
pull on its udders.
You pull, and you know we're not strong enough to pull.
But don't you think
you know,
the size of the Stonehenge in comparison to the world's volume is kind of discerning compared, you know, that would be a pretty small udder.
Whoa, okay. I don't shame you on the size of your udders, all right? Whoa, buddy. Come on.
All right, maybe I just don't know the world's anatomy like that. My bad, but you know.
How dare you? Dude, that's
such a small little
that's our
faucet.
Earth, bro.
It's a small little faucet for the Earth's milkage. It can't possibly contain all that milk.
Just because it can't be as big as Jupiter's fucking udders doesn't mean Earth. You're gonna put down Earth, bro. That's our boy. That's our girl.
Okay,
That's our.
Okay. That's our Earth cow.
That's our planet.
Okay. Well, I guess I need to be a little more sensitive about that. But that all makes sense to me. That makes sense to me, Paul.
Don't judge a planet by its udders.
Paul, this one's gonna hit real close to home. Okay. I have more information that I desperately need you to elaborate on.
Okay.
Paul McCartney is dead. The biggest hoax in rock and roll history blew up in 1969, said Rolling Stone. It was the Paul is dead theory. Beatles legend has it that Paul McCartney died in a car accident in 1966 at the height of the band's fame, and that the other three band members covered it up by hiring someone who looked and sang just like him. But the guilt eventually got to them, and they began hiding clues in their music to let fans know what had happened. The Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album is, Beatlemaniac's claim, awash with Paul is dead quote-unquote clues, such as the lyrics to A Day in the Life, which featured the line, "He blew his mind out in a car," and the phrase, "Paul is dead, miss him, which becomes evident only when the song is played backwards. Lennon also appears to mumble, "I buried Paul," at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever, although he later denied there was any hidden meaning in the lyrics, and what he was actually saying was, quote-unquote, cranberry sauce, as if we're meant to believe that. Most famously, there is the Abbey Road album cover in which John Lennon, dressed in white, leads a funeral procession across the street. Ringo follows along in black as a mourner, with George in jeans at the back, representing a gravedigger. Paul McCartney is barefoot because, as some had it, he would have no need of shoes in the afterlife. What do you think of that, Paul?
You see, it's true. They did kill him. They did bury him because.
Oh my goodness.
You know the concept of selling your soul to the devil. Mm-hmm. They didn't do that. They sold Paul's soul to the devil. A bunch of fuckheads. All right. They were like, oh, I want the fame, but I don't want to deal with the consequences. So they sold their friend's fame. Or they sold their friend's soul for their fame. And all the, the little like hints that are sprinkled into the songs, that's actually just Paul's soul being trapped in the confines of the songs, trying to get out and reach the wider audience so that they can set him free. It's a really sad, it's a real sad, situation.
It just brings me so much pain to know that his soul is trying that hard, and not enough people know the truth about it, Paul.
And the guy they hired to play Paul, also just named Paul. That was just a coincidence.
Wow, that is weird. Something's going on there. Something awry. I think you might be onto something, Paul. I think you're right. I'm gonna miss Paul McCartney.
He's still there in the songs if you listen close enough.
All right, anyways, on a different note, let's look at someone who is actually alive, Paul. rather than someone
Okay.
someone who's actually dead. Elvis! You heard me right. Elvis is alive. Music legend Elvis Presley, quote unquote, died on August 16th, 1977. If one conspiracy theory is to be believed, the king of rock and roll faked his own death and now works as a groundsman in Graceland. Grainy footage of a bearded man posted on YouTube by, quote unquote, The Shadow, claims the figure is an 81-year-old Elvis. In the caption for the video, which has been viewed over 2.3 million times, Paul, The Shadow wrote, "He raises his two fingers at the top of his left head as a proof of life signal. In Chaldean numerology, the numerical value of V sign in numerology is 9. Proof of life. He told us he is alive with the simple V sign. Number 9, I'm alive. He is giving us a clue that he knows we are all there watching him, and to his most loyal fans, he is indeed still with us." What do you think, Paul?
Of course he's still with us. Do you know who Elvis is? Elvis is the second coming of Jesus, of our Lord and Savior, Jesus H. Christ, okay?
Oh my goodness. Please elaborate.
He died because he had to take another corporeal form so that he can be your savior. Elvis obviously wasn't working enough for the people. And so when Elvis's body, you know, got rid of its usefulness, he had to go and, you know, go find another, you know, person to you know, reincarnate into, so that we could be eventually saved. And you know who that, you know what? No, I'm not doing that joke. We're gonna cut it there. Okay. Never mind.
I don't know where that was going. That is something. Paul, what do you think he's doing out there, being a groundsman? You think he's gonna die for our sins eventually?
I think listen, I'm no religiologist, all right? I don't know. I know the facts about history and about, you know, certain theories that are happening. I don't know anything about Jesus himself. I'm sure he's a cool guy. I'm sure he would die for our sins. I'm sure he's a cool guy, but, you know, I can't say that for sure.
Well, you heard it here.
It's not like I'm omnipotent or anything.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Finland doesn't exist, Paul. Finland.
Facts. All right, move on.
Okay, moving on. No. Finland, you heard me right, is actually part of the Baltic Sea. And people who claim to live there are really just from eastern Sweden, western Russia, or northern Estonia, according to a theory born on Reddit in 2016. What began as a joke quickly gained traction online, spawning numerous subreddits and websites explaining why Russia and Japan made up the fictional country in 1918. The notion goes that the two nations created Finland so that Japan could fish the sea that truly exists there without any environmental complaints or repercussions. The fish that are caught are then shipped via the Trans-Siberian Railway, the real reason it was built, by the way, from the eastern Russian coast to Japan under the disguise of Nokia products. But surely other countries would have cottoned on to this by now. Yes, they have, according to theorists, but they've agreed to keep it a secret and allow, quote unquote, Finland to serve as a model for a better world. No real country could so consistently place first in education, healthcare, gender equality, literacy rates, national stability, and the least corrupt government in the world with freedom of the press, reads the theory. It's a concept for countries and people alike simply to aspire to. Paul, what is the truth of Finland? Clear this up right this instant.
It doesn't. Finland doesn't exist because the land there, it isn't Finland. It's the long lost city of Atlantis. All right. What
We've been looking for so long.
Exactly. It's right under our noses. It's Finland. What other, you see, all of those achievements that, number one in the entire world, what other country could do that unless it was fake or they've been around for thousands and thousands of years?
Now you're thinking.
All right.
Okay.
And Finland is just a cover story, a cover name for Atlantis, because all these other, so some countries would want to take Atlantis into their own hands, and so the countries of the world, even though some of them may not agree with each other, they agreed that, we can't have Atlantis being Atlantis out there, so we gotta, give it a cover name. So we named it Finland. And then some conspirator, went to Finland, saw the truth, and then came by and made a Reddit post. Now, who possibly, could have done that and, exposed Finland and Atlantis for what they are? I don't know, but
I think we have a pretty special guest on our podcast today, guys. We're lucky to have him.
If you know the truth, you might as well say it,
And might I add, it took us so long to realize when they just named Atlantis Finland. Like they just named it the land of Finns.
It's true.
And we didn't notice? Come on, guys. Wake up, sheeple. How many times do we gotta tell you?
Naming job, but
man,
it's true. It's worked for many years.
Hiding in plain sight.
And it worked so well.
It worked like a goddamn charm. It really makes you wonder. The oceans, Finland. There's so many places that we don't even know the full story of, Paul. But
it's true.
If there's one thing that I want answers for, Paul, it's what location is Amelia Earhart in? Okay, Amelia Earhart did not die in a plane crash, Paul. I need answers right now. It has been nearly a century since American pilot Amelia Earhart disappeared during a round-the-world flight, but the mystery surrounding her disappearance and the excitement around solving it has hardly waned. U.S. authorities maintain that Earhart and her navigator Fred Newman ran out of fuel en route to Howland Island, crashing near the Central Pacific Ocean island. Others believe the pair landed on a smaller island, becoming castaways. But a third theory is Earhart and Noonan, unable or perhaps not intending to find Howland, were quote-unquote taken hostage by the Japanese, possibly as US spies. Some even believe that after being captured, the pilot became Tokyo Rose, the Japanese radio propagandist in the Second World War, said ABC News. One of the oddest theories around Earhart's disappearance, though, is that she returned to the United States under a new name, Amelia Earhart Lives. Joe Klass's book that was published in 1970 claimed that Earhart survived the Second World War in Japanese captivity before returning to the US under the name Irene Bolam, said CNN. What do you think of that, Paul?
You see, it's another cover story. Because her plane, I know it sounds crazy, also landed in Atlantis, otherwise known as Finland.
No way.
And you see, Finland, or Atlantis, has to keep their secrecy up. So they're basically like,
naturally.
They're like good North Korea. You can't get in, you can't get out. I was lucky enough. I mean, our lucky Redditor was lucky enough to get in Redditor, and out. But as soon as Amelia Earhart went in, by crashing her plane, they couldn't let her out. So they gave her a whole new identity. They gave her a whole new, cover story that was gonna happen. of her crashing and then never being found again in whatever the Pacific or whatever she was crashing. I don't know history.
Yeah.
I know the truth, not history.
That's right. That's right.
and so once she was trapped in Atlantis, she lived the rest of her life there because she couldn't leave. And so
Right.
you heard it here first. Finland is good North Korea.
Oh, wow. Wow. Good North Korea. And Amelia Earhart, she lives there in good North Korea? In Finland?
Good North Korea. Yeah. In Atlantis.
Oh, man. We are...
She's over there. She's chilling with Poseidon and Aquaman.
Yeah. What's up with those guys?
They're fake. I don't. Oh, are you fucking stupid? They're obviously fucking. One's from DC, one's from Greek mythology. Are you?
Yeah. You're right. That was,
Come on, you're leading me to believe you think Poseidon exists. Come on, brother. Whoa, I thought you were a historian. I thought you were omnipotent.
It was just a silly question. I thought we were joking around.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Did I get you?
Move on to the next question. All right.
The truth is out there at Area 51. In 1947, claims that an alien spacecraft had landed in Roswell, New Mexico. These claims were dismissed by the US military, which said that the alien craft was merely a weather balloon. UFOologists believe the spacecraft was taken into Area 51, a division of Edwards Air Force Base, and the US government has been researching alien technology and life forms on the site ever since. Video footage of an alleged alien autopsy has been shown to be fake, but Area 51 is known to be a secretive and heavily guarded base. The reasons, however, may be more earthly than the conspiracy theories suggest. The U-2 spy plane and several other top-secret aircraft were developed and tested here. So, Paul, I'm trying to hear the truth from you. Is it the top-secret aircraft? Is it a bunch of alien autopsies and spacecraft? What is going on in Area 51?
Now, sadly, I hate to say it, but the government has told us the truth on this already. It is just a weapons testing facility. I'm sorry, there's nothing mystical to be had here. But the aliens do exist, and they've been trying to hide it from us. They exist in harmony in Atlantis, and of course, the moon people, Australians.
Right.
Australians,
Yeah.
you know.
What a joke.
Yeah, for real. But no, the Area 51 itself is just sort of like the scapegoat of all the mystical things that have been ever. It happens at Area 51, and it's just a weapons testing facility.
Wow. So it really just is like run of the mill, nothing crazy going on there, huh?
Nothing crazy.
That's
I know. I'm sorry. It's kind of lame, but
I mean, it's kind of reassuring, you know, all these things we've heard about today, all these theories that you've come on and told us are the truth. And it's nice to know that not everything is a lie, you know?
Yeah. Don't believe everything you hear, but sometimes people aren't trying to, mess with you. Sometimes they're just telling the truth.
Well, that makes me happy. I'm glad to hear that there's nothing crazy going on. Just like my life, 90% of the time we're on this podcast. Nothing too crazy going on in Area 51. Nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy.
Just the huge. But Paul, the Hat Man cometh.
Yeah.
Beware the Hat Man. A tall, dark, shadowy figure who may appear as you to try to asleep. Sorry. Let me just run that back. Beware the Hat Man. A tall, dark, shadowy figure who may appear as you try to fall asleep, often lurking in the doorway. Those who have seen him say he wears a wide-brimmed hat, similar to a fedora, and his effect is fairly terrifying. When people see him, they feel paralyzed, unable to speak, a crushing sense of breathlessness, said Quartz. Reports of the Hat Man first began appearing online in the late 2000s, and there is now a dedicated blog, the Hat Man Project, on which people can compare their experiences. People who see the Hat Man aren't crazy, quote unquote, or lying, said Quartz. Reports of shadowy figures, demons, and witches go back to ancient times. Rather, it's all part of a phenomenon known as a shadow person, which scientists attribute to sleep paralysis. There might also be a more prosaic explanation for the Hat Man. Cough medicine. It's claimed that taking too much of the antihistamine drug diphenhydramine, which is included in products to relieve symptoms of a cold and allergies under the brand name Benadryl, can result in sightings of said shadow people. But what do you say to those that don't believe it to be sleep paralysis, that they have seen with their very own eyes, Paul, the Hat Man?
Now you see, the shadow people are real. All right. I just heard someone like scurr across the fucking across the street right outside. Somebody's about to crash, and it might be the shadow people, because you see what the shadow people are is we've talked a lot about the moon people, or otherwise known as Australians.
Right.
You know, it's just, you see, cross or interbreeding between two moon people will create a shadow person. That's why not everyone sees them, because not all moon people are weird. And sometimes it's gonna happen. Sometimes it's gonna happen to people other from not the moon. It's a rare chance. It's higher in the moon people, but for regular people, if there's some sort of interbreeding involved, there's a chance that a shadow person might spawn instead. And
okay,
they have a lot of powers. The reason they're called the shadow people is not because they are just pure shadows, it's because they can turn themselves into pure darkness. All right. And being able to manipulate darkness, you're able to manipulate light. Therefore, they're able to be recognized as some people that you may have seen before, such as that shadow person right behind you. I actually seen. Yeah, I mean, he's right there, the Hat Man. Yeah, that's a shadow person. He's real.
All this time, I've been standing right next to one.
Exactly. They're not super harmful, so you don't gotta worry. They just like to watch. They're observers.
Is he just always gonna be right there? Like forever watching?
Usually whenever they've nested, they stay there for the long term. So it's.
What do you mean nested?
If you
nested,
if you want to get rid of them, you're gonna have to move. I'm sorry. he's there for a long time.
Okay. Should he know? Should he know I'm leaving?
I mean, he likes to watch, but he's not really attached to you per se.
But they happen when aliens, aka Australians, have sex.
So when there's interbreeding, which means obviously two people of the same family having. That's why there's so many. Remember Genghis Khan? Exactly. Listen. He made a lot of people, and a lot of people made some more people, and now we have shadow people. It's not necessarily the fault of they themselves. It's just it was a terrible tragedy that decimated the human population.
Yeah. That's something else, Paul.
Yeah.
I've learned so much from you, Paul. And it's just really an honor to have you here as the an impartial Redditor who has not made any significant contributions to finding Finland or any other sort of conspiracy such as that.
I don't enjoy the term Redditor. I mean, it's not me, but I'm sure the person whoever made that post wouldn't enjoy the term Redditor.
Yeah.
If you could nod, please.
Right. So you and your fedora hat people, you thank you for existing and elaborating on the truth. Okay? I'm sure all of our viewers and listeners, they've learned a thing or two. And you know, it was just great to hear from you. It was really informational. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It was a bit of a shorter episode today. You know, we really got to the juice. We got to the good stuff. We needed the truth, and the truth is what Paul here, the non-omnipotent conspiracy theorist, has helped us with. Thank you all for tuning in and listening or watching. Paul, are there any socials you wanna spit out there?
Yes. So you can find moi at Paul Hackemesser or Linksod. That's Paul Hackemesser at PaulHackemesser or Linksod at LYNKSOD. You can find me anywhere on one of those two platforms. Mostly I'm active on Instagram and on YouTube. So if you wanna reach me out, you can reach me out. Don't reach me out.
Everybody,
if you wanna reach out to me,
Paul out.
No. If you wanna reach out to me, you can contact me there or through my email, which is tied to my Instagram. So whatever. Kaden.
Okay. Yeah. So my socials are NAMELESS. That's nameless for YouTube, and my Twitch is 07 NAMELESS. That's 07 nameless on Twitch. EL_KADEN is my Instagram. That's LKaden at Instagram. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for tuning in, listening. Paul, any finishing remarks you'd like to say?
You know, we've learned a lot. We've learned that the hidden city of Atlantis is actually just Finland. Australians are just moon people. The moon is actually inside the Earth. But you wouldn't know any of this if you weren't there to see it, because you just had to be there.
That's right. You just had to be there. All right. Thank you all for watching, listening. We will see you next week on Thursday. And have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.